What's going on, family? My name is Shari Nycole. I'm the co-host of the Willie Moore Jr. Show. So happy to be doing another meet and greet with somebody who I think is an absolutely phenomenal artist. He's a singer. I'm talking about Jor'Dan Armstrong. He has a new single out right now. It's called My God, climbing the charts. And we're gonna have a good conversation about a lot of things. Hear some of his new music. And Jor'Dan, it's good to see you, man. Like, I feel like we getting to be family now. I think this is like my third time being able to tap in with you. What's going on?
I love it. Nah, I'm doing great, and you're exactly right. It does feel like family, man. You know, we've been here, so I love it. I'm just excited to be here. It's always good to be a part of what y'all doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I've described you before as a vibe. I
Come on
just
now.
love the way that you infuse
Yeah.
R&B, trap, gospel. You know,
Mhm.
I see you as an artist who really understands the importance of not limiting yourself. So
Thank
when we
you.
think about My God and this new music that you've been pushing, how important how important is it for you to make sure that you're continuing to stretch and not box yourself in artistically?
That's very, very important to me. It's been important to me. It's my number one thing since I started. I always wanted to come in different. I'm a real life church. You know, my mom and dad, you know, grew me up in church for sure. My dad's a pastor. My mom's a minister. So I know the ins and out of church. So I always knew I wanted to do this. I just knew I wanted to do something different. And so I think that's what kind of got me to this place. You know, I'm a real big person on, you know, basically combining sounds. You know, I'm from Louisiana. We throw everything in a gumbo. You know, it's like we got crab legs in there, we got shrimp, you know, we got okra, you know, and I kind of do that same thing with the music. You know, I have a lot of elements that I like to use and throw into a record. And so that's how we get my sound. So I'm just glad people notice.
Yeah, they definitely notice it. For everybody who's tapped in with us right now, I want to thank you all once again for being a part of the experience. And I call it an experience because as we listen to Jor'Dan's music and the things that he has to say about his music, I want you guys to comment, offer your feedback. You know, it's really important that we make this an exchange where we're all getting something out of it. So we're not just talking at you. This isn't just an interview. If you have a question, if you want to just say, hey, Jor'Dan, I love what I'm hearing, make sure you guys participate with comments. Drop them in the comment section. You never know, we just might post your comment or your question. And you know, Jor'Dan, we talk about this gumbo, and I want to jump right into a song that's a little mix of this, that, and the third. It's called Can't. All right, guys, take a listen.
Yeah.
Highs and lows, but I'm the one you chose. That's why I keep running back to you. Oh God, and I can't wait till you pull up on me. So much on my plate, can't live without you. I got way too much at stake. Ooh, I just can't wait. You know I can't wait till you pull up on me. So much on my plate, can't live without you. So you know I never skate. Ooh, I can't. No, there ain't no other way. I can't. I can't wait.
I'm trying to tell everybody that Jor'Dan Armstrong is a vibe. I love that song. I love that song. And I'm listening to the lyrics, and I'm a millennial. You know, you understand that you're a millennial as well. And there have been many times where we can say, man, we kind of strayed over this way and we had to really, you know, reach back, repent. Okay, God, I'm sorry. I need a hold of you. You know, when we talk about the millennial generation and the needs that we have, you know, as Christians and believers, how important is it for you to make sure that you're tapping into those needs when you're pushing out music like this?
I just want to be transparent, as transparent as I can be. I think that's ministry to me, transparency. I think we need more of that in our genre. You know, just being real. I think that's what's going to help us reach people that aren't in the church is our transparency and, you know, us keeping it real with them. You know, they used to, back in the day when I was coming, they said real recognize real, you know. Folk out in the streets and the folk that aren't in church, you know, they know when you fake right out the gate. You know, they can't wait to call you fake because you know you fronting. You know what I mean? So I think that the more real we are with ourselves and the more real we are with other people, I think that's what's going to really reach folk.
Shout out to Carlos Spells. He commented. He said, "I like that. I like that too, Carlos. Thank you so much for your comment." And you know, we talk about keeping it real. And one of the things that you make sure that you keep it real about, Jor'Dan, is that God is your source. You brag on him way before you brag on yourself or anything else. You have this amazing single out right now that's called My God. And before we hear it, I do want you to share with everybody the motivation behind that song and why it's so relevant and important for you right now.
Yeah, that song is basically, I guess, my version of just honoring God, just telling him, just stroking his ego, really telling him how awesome he is to me. And I was hoping that, you know, it would inspire someone else to feel the same and just kind of let people know that, you know, we are nothing without him. We can't do anything without him. And so, you know, I wanted to make something that felt fly too with that same message, because that message has been said over and over, how good God is. But, you know, I wanted to do it in a new way. And I think that we succeeded, man. People are really loving that song. Like they said, like you said, it's a vibe to them for sure. And so I just had fun. I think I had a lot of fun creating these records. And this is one of the first times too, I did everything on my own. And it wasn't completely on my decision. It was kind of where I was during the pandemic and things of that nature. I had to really figure it out on my own. So yeah, I produced those songs, wrote those songs, and did it all on my own in the back room, second room in my house. And you know, they came out to be some great music. And so, you know, I'm really excited about the future with them. So I appreciate y'all for even noticing that.
Absolutely. And before I let everybody hear it, Jor'Dan, I have to ask you this, because you talk about doing things on your own. And I want you to speak to the investment that you have had to make when it comes to your gift and your purpose and your ministry. A lot of times we may think, oh, I can sing, so I'm supposed to have this, or I'm supposed to get a deal, and not really understanding the level of investment, whether it be financially, spiritually, personally, professionally, that you have to put into your own craft. Can you speak to the importance of that and how that's helped guide you and elevate you in your career?
I mean, honestly, I'm not going to say I have the exact answer. I'm still learning. I think every year, every project, every single, I'm learning something new. I think, again, last year, 2020, I learned so much about the industry. I learned so much about myself personally. My relationship with God got stronger. My relationship with my wife got stronger. You know, we were stuck in the house together. So, you know, we handled some things that we needed to get through, you know what I mean? And it was kind of like almost like a boot camp on the slick, because, you know, we were able to not be distracted by things that were going on normally in the world. And it was just us. So a lot happened last year, and I'm so grateful that God did what he did, because I was so confused. I didn't know what was going to happen at the top of 2020 when everything hit the fan. And I'm just so grateful that, you know, I didn't lose anyone. You know, I didn't lose any loved ones, and I know some people did, but, you know, God really looked out for us, man. And we created some great music. But it's very important to me that, you know, we continue to learn every time. You know, I don't have all the answers. Every record, I'm learning something new. So this time I learned that, you know, consistency is key. You know, to continue to release music more. You know, people are digesting music so fast. You know, in the gospel industry, a lot of times too, you know, we'll put an album out and then 2 years later we put out another album, and that's too long now. You know, way too long. People want to hear music quickly. So I learned that for sure.
Well, cool. Well, I learned that My God is Liddy. And without further ado, I'm gonna let you guys tap into this single real quick. It's called My God. Take a listen.
Thank you.
Wait a second, let me brag on my God. Hear the truth, yeah, he be showing off. Yeah, I promise he never took a loss. If I'ma tell it, I gotta tell it all. Wait a second, let me brag on my God. Hear the truth, I ain't just telling y'all. You can count it, he never took a loss. And if I'ma tell it, I gotta tell it all. Hold on, wait a second, let me brag on my I love my God to keep them bands on me. And you may say I'm tripping, I'm your fan only. I love the time that we be spending low-key, and I know they rockin' with me when his hands on me. Oh.
That's one of those songs I'm like, can we please? I want to hear some more of that. But, you know, I understand time limit. Shout out to Tiffany Walker Martin. She says, okay, this is nice. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you for tapping in. It is nice. And, you know, Jordan, what's up, Chad? Chatty Bear Howard says nice as well. Thank you guys so much for being involved in this experience. And Jor'Dan, you know, some people might say, okay, is he a singer? Is he a rapper? He got a little Drake tease on him.
Right.
how
Yeah.
would you describe yourself? Or would you say, hey, I'm a singer? Or you say, hey, I could play around with hip hop if I feel like.
Check this out. I'm gonna say Drake really messed it up for everybody because Drake is really great. He's a really great artist. But I think Drake, being a rapper and singing, I think now the little bit of singing that he does now is still considered rap. So that kind of puts me in a place too. Sometimes when people listen to my music, they're like, "Well, he's a rapper." But to me, I feel like I'm singing. I'm a singer. I grew up. My favorite singers was Daryl Coley and Marvin and Fred and all of these folk, man. So I'm a singer actually. I grew up singing my entire life in church, and so I feel like I'm singing. But sometimes I get mixed in the rap game, and sometimes that's okay. So it's all good. I just want you to like the songs. I just want you to hear the message, and I just want you to be inspired. So whatever you want to call it that.
Well, we're gonna call it great is what we're gonna call it.
Thank you.
You said a word that hit me. You said, or a phrase, mixed in. And with that said, sometimes if people are just listening, but not listening, they might be listening with their head, not their heart. They may think, okay, this is like a secular song. This is turning up. Right. And with that in mind, has there ever been temptation for you from the other side of the aisle to say, hey, man, I know you're over there on the gospel side, but you can come over here. We can do some things.
Yeah, I'll say not really. Believe it or not. I know a lot of people that are on that side too, and successful people too. And honestly, God has really used me as their source. A lot of times they come and talk to me about things and they're like, man, I wish I could do it that way now. I wish I could be a part of what you're doing, and I'm usually here to encourage them that that's possible. But I always knew I wanted to do this. I never, ever wanted to go on the other side or sing what they're singing about. I always thought about, of course, my love for God, but I always thought about my family. I wanted to make music that my grandma would want to hear, that she would be proud of, my parents, my family, and so I know my foundation is so strong in God. My folks would be so disappointed in me. And so I ain't gonna lie, that's what really helped me. That and of course, like I said, my love for God, but it was my family. I just didn't want to tarnish our name. I knew God had bigger plans. I come from a long line of ministers and pastors and people of the faith. And so I would never want to taint that history ever.
Wow. I love that. And you talk about family. You mentioned the dynamic with your wife a little bit earlier. Yeah. And you all have a very, very cool story, cool testimony as to how you kind of came up the ranks together. And, one of the I would say taboo topics in the Christian community, which I hope that we can break through that is celibacy. I don't think we talk about it enough. It's definitely something that you are adamant in making sure that, you share your story with everybody else. Can you kind of, before we take a listen to some more music, kind of share a little bit of that testimony with us?
Yeah. Me and my wife, we did not start off right when we were dating. And I think what's really cool is that, God sent us through a phase in our relationship to where we actually moved in together. We had to live together. It was kind of a situation to where we were both in Atlanta with no family, and we kind of made it work. But I do remember my family telling me, and growing up, you're playing with fire when you're doing stuff like that, or shacking up, and so I was always like, that's not in the Bible. I never seen that in the Bible. Where is it at? That's the kind of stuff you say when you want to do what you want to do. So I definitely understood why they were telling us that, why they were telling me that growing up, because it was really hard. Me and my wife really had to come to a place in our relationship to where we had to practice that, but we also were living together. So that was extremely hard because you see this person every day, you're around them 24/7. And, if you're in love with it, we slept in the same bed, so you're in love with this person. Of course, you want that person.
Right.
So, that's what was really hard. And so the temptation was definitely there, but we learned so much. I think once we started to practice celibacy in our relationship, God elevated it as well. And we also really got to know each other. Sometimes, sex can really cloud, a relationship because it's some things that, you don't really get down to. You don't get past a certain level because sex is just blocking everything. You get mad, then you just go have sex or something. And so, no, like, let's talk about this. You know what I'm saying? Let's break it down. And I think that once we removed that, we really got to know each other. And the second plus was when we did get married, we knew everything about each other. You know, I knew she didn't like socks over here. She knew how I wanted this to be done too. Like it was like when we got married, it was just smooth sailing because we've been living together for 2 years.
Yeah.
You know, so but I'm not here to tell anyone to live with anyone or anything before marriage. But that was our situation that was supposed to turn out terrible, and it turned out to be something really awesome for us. And I'm definitely not ashamed to because that's a huge testimony for us. And we made it through, and I think it made us stronger than ever. I knew for a fact I had to marry this woman after that.
Well, I love it. And this makes me think about, this next single that I want everybody to hear, Let Him Use You, because I think that's what you allow God to do, even in sharing right now. And that's the important thing. We've overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. So thank you for sharing that. And before we listen to this record, what was the motivation behind you putting this thing together?
Honestly, I was thinking about the times growing up in the old Baptist church. And that's what folk always would yell at me when I was singing. Let him use you, baby. Let him use you. I always remember that. And I always wanted to make a record that talked about that or kind of shined a light on those moments. And also inspire someone to allow God to use them. I think that's the best. He's the best person that we can have to do that for us. And I think that, again, without him, all my messages kind of tie in together again. But without him, we're nothing. So we should just literally let him use us. And if he's using us, we're bound for greatness. So Let Him Use is definitely another fun record. And you got all the records. I didn't know y'all had all these songs. This stuff ain't even out.
We try to turn up. Okay. We try to make it worth your while.
That one.
Yeah, we trying to make it worth your while, and everybody who's watching and tapped in, we want to make this experience worth their while. So, you abbreviated LHUY, but it is Let Him Use You. Take a listen, everybody.
I'ma take it old school like the church used to do, yeah. Tell him, let him use ya. He just beginning, baby, no, he ain't through yet. Yeah, maybe you should let him use ya. Tryna get another blessing, he too, yeah. You should let him use ya. I know you in it and you tryna drip too, yeah. Then baby, gon' let him use ya. Let him use ya. Let him use you. Ooh, ooh. Let him use ya. Let him use ya. Let him use you. Ooh. Say baby, gon' let him use ya.
I love that record because it makes me feel like you're my best friend. Like you're talking right to me.
To you.
It's just a feel so good, cool. Like, it's like a gas up record almost. Like I really love that. And with everything that's going on right now, Jor'Dan, this pandemic is still very real. There was legislation today to kind of extend some of the ordinances for people who are dealing with issues with their, rent and things of that nature. So much still going on in the world around us. God is still doing awesome things. And in the midst of all of that. So is there anything lasting that you want to leave with anybody who's watching, who may be going through a difficult time, who may be trying to get to a place where they feel better, where they can feel like they can brag on God and things of that nature? What will be your lasting words for them?
Well, one thing would be to, continue to stand strong on your faith in God. Always understand that, he has a plan. No matter what, even when it seems like it's just so dark and it's just so terrible and this is the end of the road, he always comes through like a knight shining on, man. And I must say, I know sometimes that sounds cliche, but it really happens, so just keeping the faith in God, man, is the most important thing. And if you're looking for inspiration, also go and listen to my stuff, man. I think it's very inspirational. I think it'll uplift your spirits. I always wanted to make music like that too, to just make you feel good. I think a lot of times too, with gospel music or Christian music, we're only the soundtrack of one type of moment. I want to make music that's the soundtrack throughout the entire week for you. Your Monday, first day at work, something you can play on the way to work that's going to motivate you through that week. A Friday record when you're hanging out with your friends and y'all about to go out to eat, music for that too. And also music for a Sunday morning, so I would love to be the soundtrack of the new millennial Christian. And I think God is really doing that. And so, if you're looking for that, check out Jor'Dan Armstrong, man. He might have something for you.
Well, God is certainly doing that work. And, I don't have to question it. And Jor'Dan, how can people get a hold of this good music and also keep tabs on you on social media?
Yeah, no, I am everywhere. But if you're trying to reach me quickly, I am on Instagram the most. Me and my wife are on there, usually having a good time or smiling about something. But you can find me there at Where's Jor'Dan. That's WHERESJOR_DAN.
Absolutely. And you guys make sure you tap in. Please, please, please. You will not be disappointed. So much great music coming from Jor'Dan. Jor'Dan, it's always a pleasure, man. I
Oh, thank
enjoy
you.
every conversation that we have, and I'm just pulling for you because I know your heart is pure, and I know you're doing
Mm,
this because you ultimately understand your purpose and your mission in your ministry. So I'm just sending so much love your way, prayers, and thankful that
Thank
you are
you.
utilizing the gifts that God's given you in the way that you are. I appreciate you, brother, and enjoy the time. And if you guys want to tap in with me on social media, you certainly can. Instagram and Twitter, same handle. That's at Shari_Nycole, SHARI_NYCOLE. You can also check me out Monday through Friday on the Willie Moore Jr. Show. Thank you
Yeah.
guys so much for listening, for watching, and for joining us in this experience. Have a great night.